Well, if you watch my top 10 best superhero movies list, this is the top 10 worst, so let's get to it. This list some people might not agree on, so they'll be like, wait, that's not that bad, but this is my opinion. I don't like these movies. I think they're the worst superhero movies ever made. So yeah, let's get to it. Before I get to the list, here's some dishonorable mentions, and those dishonorable mentions are... Before we get to this list, I have some dishonorable mentions, and those dishonorable mentions are The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Superman 3, Catwoman, Supergirl, and X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yes, the movie that fucked up my favorite superhero. Yes, but that actually didn't make the list. There are 10 worst films. That's right, 10 worse than Origins Wolverine. Let's get to it. Coming number 10 is Green Lantern. Yes, one of the most ugliest and worst looking CGI I've ever seen. It's worse than Avatar. This is just horrible. Who CGI's a mask anyways? Oh god, that looks hideous. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds embarrasses himself playing Hal Jordan. Blake Lively, well, as usual, plays a shitty part, plays a shitty role in this movie. And Pierce Skarsgård just embarrasses himself and playing the villain. I forget the villain. Everything about this movie is forgettable. I saw this movie once in theaters when it came out in 2011, and this movie was just god awful. The acting was bad, and the CG, just looked terrible. I was so bored, and I'm glad I pretty much forget this movie. I remember parts of it, but yeah, this movie was just terrible. Coming number 9 is Batman Forever. Some people don't hate this movie as much as, obviously it's other film, but some people don't really bash this movie. I do. I think this movie sucks. I think this movie's absolutely horrible. Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones are just bad in this movie. This is the worst adaptations of Riddler and Two-Face. They basically acted like Jack Nicholson from Batman. Basically, they're both playing the Joker, and I didn't like that. And I didn't like Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was okay as Bruce Wayne, but every time he's Batman, I didn't buy it. And Chris O'Donnell was just a whiny asshole in this movie. And what is with the bat nippers? Yes, the costumes look terrible. The Batmobile looked terrible. Gotham City looked terrible. And it was shot terribly. Everything about this movie was just shitty. Joel Schumacher directed. He's a good director. I love Lost Boys and Phone Booth, but God, he cannot direct a good Batman movie. Coming in number 8 is Daredevil. Yes, Ben Affleck. Yes, I'm a little worried that he's playing Batman, but yeah, he fucked up Daredevil real bad. Yeah, his performance is just terrible. But yeah, it's not just his fault. Yeah, the direction was really bad. It was a really horribly written movie, and the action. I gotta talk about the action. The action was just shit. This is the most lame choreography and a lot of cuts in this movie. And yeah, I don't know who choreographed this movie, but the action was just shit. Really bad shit, and really bad green screen effects sometimes, and yeah, Jennifer Garner was bad. Colin Farrell looked like he was having a good time, but even he wasn't that good. The only person I liked was Michael Clark Duncan, and as Kingpin, he was okay, but other than that movie. Coming number 7, speaking of Daredevil, Elektra. Yeah, Jennifer Garner gave a horrible performance in Daredevil, but she does an even worse job in Elektra. Like Green Lantern, I only seen this movie once. I saw it when I rented it when it first came on video, DVD. It was absolutely horrible. It was so boring and so badly acted, and I didn't even know sometimes what was going on because I was just so bored. This is the most boringest superhero movie. Actually, it's not. We'll be getting to the most boringest superhero movie, but yeah, this movie was just bad. The villain was really stupid. It's kind of funny how bad it is. So bad it's funny a little bit. The action's not good. The editing is really choppy, and yeah, this movie's just bad. I didn't like this movie. Coming in number 6 is X-Men 3: The Last Stand. Everyone debates what's the worst X-Men movie, Origins Wolverine or The Last Stand. Origins Wolverine is shit, but Last Stand is the worst. It ruined X-Men because first 2 X-Men's were good films. Very good films. Not amazing, but good films. X-Men 3 just ruined that streak. Thank you, Brett Ratner. Fuck. Yeah, Bryan Singer should have just directed X-Men 3, but he didn't. Brett Ratner had to come and just fuck it up. Then Gavin Hood came for the Origins Wolverine, and he fucked it up even more, but X-Men 3, I think it's just a little worse. I hated that they brought in this cure. I don't know if that's part of the comic books. I haven't read a lot of X-Men comic books, but if it is, I didn't think they did a good job with it in this movie, and I didn't like that they killed all these characters off. You know, if you haven't seen the movie, I think everyone's seen this, but they kill Cyclops, Professor Xavier, killed Jean, and I'm like, what? Okay. And they kill him really in really stupid ways. Like, see with Charles, those kind of make me laugh. I'm like, this is not supposed to be scary or sad. I mean, it's kind of funny actually how stupid it is, but yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't even like some of the action scenes. The only thing I kind of liked was Hugh Jackman. He was okay, but yeah, I hated this movie so much. I think it just ruined X-Men. And thank God for First Class and Days of Future Past because they brought it. Number 5 is a movie some people will disagree with me, but Iron Man 2. Everyone agrees Iron Man 2 is the worst Iron Man, but I think it's actually one of the worst superhero movies because this, like I was saying about boring, this is the most boring superhero movie. I actually saw this movie twice. I watched it in theaters. Didn't like it, but then it came on Netflix a couple years later, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a try again. Hated it even more. This movie is just bad. Again, it's so forgettable, and Downey Jr. is not even that good in the movie. The action is the visuals are okay, but the villain, the villain is so forgettable. Like, no one cares about Mickey Rourke with lightning blades, and oh, God, this movie was just terrible. And Don Cheadle, he was okay, but I actually preferred Terrence Howard as James Rhodes. I don't know why, I just preferred him than Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle tried, but I prefer Terrence Howard. I love to see him in the War Machine outfit. And yeah, I didn't like the performances as much, and I didn't have a fun time watching this movie. I just thought it was boring and really forgettable. Coming in number 4 is Fantastic Four. Yeah, Fantastic Four is a god-awful movie. I've actually seen this movie multiple times because I used to think it was so bad it was funny and good. No, it's just bad. I hate this movie. I think this movie is shit. Glad Chris Evans is being Captain America now. Not the Human Torch. He's a shitty Human Torch. Well, they're all shitty. Ian Grufford's a shitty Mr. Fantastic. Jessica Alba's a shitty Invisible Woman. Michael Chiklis is a shitty Ben Grimm / The Thing. And what's his name? Julian McCollin, whatever the fuck his name is. He's a terrible Doctor Doom. Yeah, they made Doctor Doom such a pussy. Like, Doctor Doom is like an awesome villain. He's so smart and devious, and he's such a badass. They did not make him a badass in those movies. They made him kind of wimpy and annoying, just more irritating than menacing. But yeah, I hated this movie. It was really cheesy, and they had horrible comedy in the movie, and the action was so boring, and some of the effects actually look really bad. It only came out a few years ago, 2005, and yeah, it looks really dated now, and yeah, the movie was just shit. Yeah, Rise of the Silver Surfer, I didn't like that either, but this movie I hated more, so yeah. Fantastic Four, shitty movie. Coming number 3 is Blade Trinity. I love the Blade movies. I think Blade's awesome. Blade 2 is awesome. This movie is just stupid. This movie's fucking awful. Yeah, it's not only a poorly directed or poorly executed film, but yeah, it's just really silly. And yeah, why'd they get Triple H in this movie? Oh, this movie's retarded. Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel in this movie, they're also shit in this movie. Yeah, don't put Ryan Reynolds in like comic book movies. Yeah, Blade Trinity, X-Men Origins, Green Lantern. God, that guy just can't do superhero movies or comic book movies. Yeah, just shit. I hated Blade Trinity. Blade Trinity is the worst of the Blade movies. They should have just stopped at 2. Coming to number 2, yeah, my number 1 and number 2 are very obvious, but coming to number 2 was Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. The Quest for Peace, or whatever. Yeah, this movie is, like, a mess. Yeah, the effects, yeah, dated. This is beyond dated. This probably doesn't even work for its time. The effects were better in the first 2, and they came out before this movie. This movie's awful. Just bad. Superman 3 is bad. This is beyond bad. This movie's horrendous. They got John Cryer in this movie. Yeah. Alan from 2.5 Men. Yeah. That'll make a good Superman movie. Yeah, and I felt like no one was trying in this movie. There's even a scene, they rip off Superman 1 and they do the flying scene, him and Lois. I'm like, I feel like they're just not even trying. Yeah, Christopher Reeve looks like he was just there to get a paycheck. I think that's why everyone did this movie, just get a paycheck. Totally not worth it. And the number 1 worst superhero movie, Batman and Robin. No shit, right? Yes, this movie is so bad it's funny. Yes, I treat it as a comedy as well, but this movie is the reason we didn't have comic book movies for a while. This movie made people afraid of comic book movies. This movie was like, made people think like, maybe we shouldn't make comic book movies anymore. And even worse, maybe we should never make a Batman movie anymore. Thank you, Nolan, for bringing it back, but and thank you, Joel Schumacher, for shitting on everything I love. Yeah, this movie, horrible. Just bad. Everything is bad. Every second of this movie is bad. Every line of dialogue is bad. Every shot is bad. Every piece of acting is bad. The direction is bad. The editing is bad. The costumes are bad. Everything is bad. They ruined awesome heroes and they ruined awesome villains. Yes, they ruined Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is not a... he's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Poison Ivy is not an over-the-top actress. And Bane is not a retard. He just doesn't say, Bane or Bomb. Tom Hardy did a good job. I know people hate Dark Knight Rises, but Tom Hardy did an awesome job as Bane. And I can't wait to see a good Poison Ivy and a good Mr. Freeze. Maybe in the future Batman movies, but all we have is Batman and Robin, and fuck you, Batman and Robin. So yeah, that's my top 10 worst superhero movies list. If you liked it, some people might not agree, but if you don't, give me a list of your top 10 worst superhero movies, and give me your best too. Like and subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.